All right, recruits, today I'm gonna be showing you how to make a cumin and cilantro duck breast,
Ooh.
apricot jus, and eggplant.
Hey.
And we're gonna put them together so easily. First thing we're gonna do is remember what we're gonna do. I'm just kidding. First, I'm gonna toast my cumin. We want the oils to open up. We're not looking to burn the spices. While that's toasting lightly, I'm going to grab my duck breasts. Actually, these are pretty nicely trimmed. Sometimes on the bottom of the duck breast, there's a little of this sinew. Go right underneath and trim that off. Now, I'm going to score the skin. So basically gonna create crosshatches. I wanna cut through the fat. I don't wanna cut into the meat. And I'm gonna season it fairly aggressively and the tiniest bit of pepper. So our duck breast, it's a nice, beautiful layer of fat, and then underneath that is a layer of meat. I'm gonna cook it fat side down in a dry pan, very, very low and slow, so that we render or cook down that fat, and that fat will start to crisp up, and then the duck will start to cook. While it's in there, I'm gonna season the back end and let that hang out. Look how I've ground this cumin. It's not super fine. So the cumin is gonna get mixed with cilantro stem, and that's gonna be the crust that we're gonna finish our duck with. Okay, those are set and ready for me to cut. Half a cup of hazelnut, 300-degree oven. I just wanna lightly toast that hazelnut. I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes. Sauce work. Let's get all the things. So we're gonna make a gastrique. Does anyone know what a gastrique is? Vinegar and sugar reduced. So we're gonna take this gastrique base as the base for our sauce and then build our flavors on top of that. 1 bay leaf, 2 sprigs of thyme. We're gonna sweat this out. A tablespoon of pink peppercorn. Just make sure I have enough fat to get that onion translucent. To this, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar and 1/2 cup of sherry vinegar. So I'm gonna cook this down until there's barely anything left. While all of these nice things are happening, and I'm gonna mince my cilantro stem. This is about 1/3 of a cup of cilantro stem. Cumin, I'm gonna take 1 tablespoon. I'm gonna add this to my cilantro stem. Now I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of red wine, and we're gonna do the same thing all over again, building layers of flavor in there. So we're checking our duck breast.
Ooh.
Okay, nice and low, nice and slow. Strain off some of this. I'm gonna reserve that duck fat right there, because I'm gonna cook the eggplant in that duck fat. I'm gonna dice 1/4 cup of apricot. Now, these apricots, you're going to see them in the sauce, so I do want them cut evenly. Make sure that everything looks the same. And reserve that on the side. Come and look at our red wine. This is how I want you to reduce it. Now to this, I want you to add 1 cup of demi. We can call it 1 1/4 cup. Nuts. Toasted hazelnut. A little bit of oil. Just gonna waken up my apricots a little bit. So I'm using eggplant. I'm just gonna trim up my eggplant a little bit. I'm going to score my eggplant. Lightly season my eggplant. Slightly larger pan for my eggplant. I'm gonna meet my apricot here. I'm gonna add another 1/2 cup of demi. Checking our duck breasts.
That duck is just chilling up there. I love that that duck is just
The duck's just hanging out.
doing its own thing.
So I'm gonna take some of this beautiful duck fat. Sauce reducing, our duck is almost ready. So the only other thing I'm gonna need with my sauce is a tablespoon of butter. Ready to go. My hazelnuts, I'm gonna split them. Check our duck fat eggplants. I'm gonna pull these, I'm gonna rest them. Turn my duck breast over. Now, in goes my knob of butter. Lightly season it. 2 sprigs of thyme in there. We're gonna baste the duck in its own fat.
How do you gauge when it's ready to come out and rest? A meat thermometer.
So if I render the skin properly, I wanna cook it to about 130 degrees. While our duck is resting, I'm just taking a spoonful of honey. I am lightly brushing this duck with honey. Cilantro stem, crust. Spread it out, stick it to everything, all the nooks and crannies, because that's the kind of person I am. So on the back side of the duck, sometimes there's a little tenderloin. I'm gonna trim my end, creating a flat surface. I want 3 nice slices. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Now our eggplant garnish, drop a couple hazelnuts, and our sauce. It's a touch too thick. So the sugars in the apricot are coming out and the pectinates in the apricot, and it's really thickening up that sauce. So sometimes it's necessary to go back and adjust slightly. We're gonna adjust with a little bit of sherry, a little bit of salt. Now I'm gonna sauce my plate, making sure that I have sauce, a little bit of that apricot, and sauce the eggplant a little bit. I try not to sauce the duck and just let the sauce kind of pool on the plate. Just have some beautiful microflowers. There's two schools of thought on herbs, so it's either they're specifically placed or they just fall.
Are you a specifically placed person?
Depends on my mood, it really, really does. Great, 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 great. Okay, so here is your duck.
Look at that.